Step in, lean in, mic on, and begin. Hey! Been quiet too long, chewed up tongue. Turn down songs, clock keeps ticking on the wall. But your name's still missing from the roll call. Let your voice be heard, say every single word. From the low notes to the sky, throw hands up high. Let your voice be heard, loud, clear, undeterred. Got a light, buddy?
Yeah, sure, kid. There you go.
And your wallet.
Nick, give him your wallet.
If it shakes the room, that's how you know it's you, yeah. Oh, yeah. You got a truth tucked deep in your chest. Heartbeat tapping out, say it, confess. Crowd might stare, let them do what they do. They never held a fire living in you. Let your voice be heard. Say every single word. From the low notes to the sky. Throw hands up high. Let your voice be heard. Loud, clear, undeterred. If it shakes the room, that's how you know it's you, yeah. Speak up, name your dream out loud. Stand up, you're the leader of this crowd. One spark, one shout, watch the silence melt. That power in your mouth is the truest thing you felt. Let your voice be heard. Say every single word. From the low notes to the sky. Throw your hands up high. Let your voice be heard. Loud, clear, undeterred. If it shakes the room, that's how you know it's you.
Welcome. Once again, welcome back to Let Your Voice Be Heard Talk Radio. Again, my name is Cloyd Holmes. I am the visionary and CEO of Man Up Ministry, Inc. I'm also the host of Let Your Voice Be Heard Talk Radio. Yeah. Sharee Wells, Miss Sharee Wells. The floor is yours. Give me something on that.
There are statistics all over from studies that are done showing that women are strong contributors in the workforce.
Mm-hmm.
But the older you get, the less seen you are, the less recognized you are. And there are all sorts of reasons for it, chief among which are age and gender bias, which are institutionalized. People just don't even notice it anymore. It's just so much a part of the organization. They figure they're going to retire soon. They figure they're going to have too many caregiving responsibilities. They figure they just are tired and can't do more. They've done such a lion's share of work. And the fact is that companies, organizations that have a minimum of 30% women in their executive leadership are 12 times more likely to be in the top 20% of financial performing companies. And this is fact. So it is not that these women are not bringing actual value. There is a business case for this. This is not just people saying, wham, wham, women aren't being treated very well. But there are still statistics that show women are not recognized for the work that they do. And so it's important that we start to take a look at those efforts that are made by women to be advocates for themselves. I'm not here to start a revolution. There's already a Me Too. I don't need to recreate that. But I can help two groups of people. One is women themselves who want to be better self-advocates, who want to negotiate their careers from the get-go and to keep moving up. Not everybody wants that, but those that do, I'm here to help them. And the other group is organizations that want to build systems within themselves that will encourage women to take on leadership roles instead of the existing systems which now are discouraging women to take on those leadership roles.
This has been, we talked about this last time that you were here. This has been going on for so long. I mean, for many years. It's been going on since the beginning of time, actually. So now, how, and we talked about this, how do we make an impact? How do we put a dent in any of this thinking without more women like yourself? Because I heard other leaders on here. I heard Karen, who's in leadership, and I heard her say that sometimes she has to not hire a woman because of certain things, even though this woman is qualified for the position, but being that it's a woman, there may be something in the job description that disqualifies her, or not disqualified, but say, well, I won't, she ain't gonna be able to lift that, or something to that effect. So how do, even, because not saying that Karen is being discriminative against any woman because she's a woman in leadership, but how do you have an impact on anything in this field if even this is so prevalent that even the women have the mindset of, well, this is a woman and she may not be able to do this position in this company?
You just have to make sure that you are doing everything possible to do as much public education as you can about women in the workforce, how they contribute, how they can perform functions, maybe not the same way that we assume that the function will be performed, but in a different way. We have to do this for folks who have disabilities. We have to provide ways for them to access the same opportunities as other people. So, for instance, if I am blind, or if I am deaf, or if I am paraplegic, or don't have the use of my hands, there has to be something available. If you're going to hire me, you have to accommodate those disabilities. With women, it's not so much that it's a disability, but that it's a different ability. And we're just not used to looking at what those different abilities could be. My example, I think, previously was that, for instance, if someone is a little person and their job is to get things off of shelves or put things on shelves, well, there's only so far they can reach. But they can use ladders and I don't remember what those things are called, scaffolding and that sort of thing that they can go up and down on in order to do the same job as someone who is average size. So we need to start thinking that way about what women are doing. Um, the the thing is that it's we are not looking at the correct things. I believe we are looking at physical different abilities instead of looking at the creativity that is brought to all levels of management, the nurturing ability to grow things and build relationships that are oftentimes better performed by women in organizations. And this comes out in research that is done. For instance, I believe it is Leadership Circle that did the survey of 84,000 working men and women, where women wound up scoring higher in every single solitary category of operational creativity in the whole entire survey. So they were able to score higher, and these scores were given. This was self-assessment, so the men were scoring them higher as well as the women. So it's a matter of finding those things that women are as good or even better at providing as men, and then using them together, using both of them to achieve the outcomes that companies and organizations want, as opposed to just saying it's got to all be women, it's got to all be men. Get rid of that crap. Start thinking about the women do this well, the men do that well. Let's put them together and create something where we can all be successful.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I want to say this. I commend you and I encourage you to continue in what you're doing, because if you had the thought of, that's why I asked the last question. If you have the thought of, well, this has been going on for so many years, and it's not what kind of impact can I have by myself in this? This is hopeless. If everybody has that kind of thinking, nothing will ever get done. But you have to do exactly what you're doing. I'm going to go on and do my part and do with this and encourage someone else to do it and someone else to do it. And if more women, more people would stand up on this issue, there would be more focus on it. I see people's hands up. I see you guys' hands up. I got you. I'm getting ready to get you right now. I see Danielle. Danielle about to jump through the screen. Let me get Danielle on here right now. She about to jump through the screen. Come on, Danielle.
I love this, Sharee, because these are I just want to say that these are the conversations that we need to bring to the table. With them taking out DEI out, that even makes it harder. And also, BIPOC communities are struggling already, and we have the ageism and the sexism parts. What we need is less gatekeepers and more leaders to help dismantle these systems and then rebuild them up appropriately. So these conversations of equality isn't just not misrepresented, though, either, because we keep creating the same narrative of just because we can do it, just because we can, doesn't mean we're going to keep doing the same pattern.
That's kind of what Mike was also talking about, and that's what we loved.
So one of the things that I'm agreeing with you is in kind of raw and porous. Just because you're a boss does not make you a leader. We have to be leaders in our voices, and having these conversations of not just accessibility. We need to have those conversations about diversity, inclusion, intersectionality, anti-racism, all these things. We got to have these conversations because as marginalized individuals already, regardless of social type, background, culture, we are still playing to that colonized lens of this is the system and we have to play ball like the boys club.
But how can we if we're undereducated about the system?
And that's what we're trying to learn. So
exactly. So that's why more education is needed about exactly what is that system and what about that system holds certain people back and not others, and pulls other people forward when perhaps they aren't really qualified, to be at the top. They maybe were in the right place at the right time.
And I want to hear what Karen says with this too.
They knew how to speak. Yeah. Yes, exactly. I'm waiting for Karen. I see.
Because she has always such good material. She brings it to the table. And these are the things that come. Your voice, Karen, I'm just plugging here. Your voice in these panels are what helps educate and dismantle these systems and rebuild them up.
Yes.
And you bring this to as well, especially in that niche that you're working with. So yeah.
Yes.
I'll shut up.
Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And yes, Karen, you always ask awesome questions. Come on with your question.
First of all, I want to say that yes, we have come a long way as women in the workforce because, as you said, Cloyd, years ago, we were the stay at home and the men went to work. And then we got the opportunity to work when the men went to war, and then they came back and we didn't keep the same job. So we have come a long way. We still have a long way with breaking that glass ceiling. We know that. What Sharee brings to the table is a certain niche that's very, very important for the middle-aged woman in her career. That's her niche. So when she's coaching those women, it's because they need that help in that particular career. It's not just about women being overlooked and devalued. It's that particular niche, and that's what's so important about her coaching. Now, when we're looking at, I remember years ago when I was in school, and it really stuck out to me that there are some companies, let's say it was BMW, and they took the older employee, the ones that I guess we would say put out to pasture, the older employee, and matched that employee up with a younger employee because the older employee had the experience and the wisdom. The younger employee brought to the table something different. So together, like Sharee was saying, teaming up. And it was so important, and it stuck out to me because me, as an older person and in leadership, when I'm looking at hiring a person, and like you said, sometimes the woman is not a good fit for what I'm hiring for. Right? So, but I can't say that. I can't say, well, she's not going to be able to lift or she's not going to be able to do that. Because to be honest with you, some of them guys can't lift that much either. But we won't go there. That's a different subject. But,
or work 48 hours without sleep.
So it's important that we look at the whole picture. Not just focusing on, the value of the women in general. We're looking at that middle-aged woman. And I can say also as a middle-aged woman, well, I'm probably past middle age at this point. However, that, keeping my value and in leadership because I'm getting older and my CEO is my own, younger than my children. And it's all the people in the C-suite now are younger than me. So keeping my value, and there's a term, and this is going to show my age, sharpening the tools in my toolbox. You always have to stay abreast of what is out there, the technology and things like that, to show that I'm still on the top of my game, right? And that's something that I tell the people that I hire as well. You got to stay on top of it, because you can be outsourced in a minute. But getting back to the women part of it, I have hired women, and they're kind of like in their middle age, and they kind of sometimes I'm like, they may get emotional, and the guy won't get emotional, but then the guy has his stuff, so you just have to know your audience, and you have to know the position and what you need in that particular position. Sharee, I take my hat off to you, because your niche is so unique. And if I wasn't going to retire in 3 years, I would come to you to coach me if I was going to look for a new position in a new company, because I would have to present myself different than I did years ago because of my age. So thank you for that.
You would, Karen, but I would build you a strategy that would make you a coach in my company for sure. I would put you with those women, because you've been in the trenches and you know what's going on.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. I see Tony Curtis, you have your hand up.
So took me a second. Oh, I forgot I had to change that for my onboarding. My bad. My question is, as the women are navigating this environment of either maintaining their career or growing their career, what role do you think confidence plays in it? Because if you don't believe in yourself, you can't tackle the challenge of someone being against you. Right?
Yeah.
So, how does confidence play a role in it? And then how do you deal or identify the person that's sabotaging you?
Okay. So we'll do one thing at a time. Okay. The confidence building part is in developing a plan for you, specifically for you, that's specifically about you and your strengths and what you bring to the table and how you measure the value of that in terms and language the upper management can understand clearly. Where is the money? Following it around, not just saying that you were good at this, not just saying that you successfully did X, Y, and Z, but saying, I saved us money, I made us money, I shortened the time span for this. You learn to speak in the language of business, which for some people is not their natural language. So we have to learn to speak it over and over and over. We have to practice. All the people out there that say, oh, Sharee, I don't want to practice interviewing. I don't want to practice my answers to questions. I don't want to practice negotiating because I don't want to sound rehearsed. If you don't practice, you are going to sound rehearsed. I guarantee it. You're going to sound like somebody who doesn't know their subject. So we make you the subject matter expert on you. And that is the main strategy, is to make you know yourself so well that you can advocate for yourself. You can justify what you ask for. You can ask with confidence, and that you don't mind if you hear a no. Hey, that's one step closer to my next yes. a process. And my program starts out, it's an 8-week program, but you're not done with the 8 weeks. In the 8 weeks, you can learn what you need to know, and we can create your strategy. But you have to get out there and use the strategy so that it is as natural to you as breathing. When someone says to you, tell me about yourself, you just respond because you know the answer. You don't have to think, oh my God, this is the scariest question they ask. You know, you build the confidence, which is also based on the value that you can now articulate to people because you know the terms and language you need to speak to the leadership. So that is something. We also worry about building your circle of influence. So your networking, growing your network with the right people at the right levels to be able to influence hiring decisions for you. Those are also confidence builders because those are the people that say to you, you did it. You did good. Come on, try this. Let's go over here and do that. And that is people above you in the hierarchy of the organization, as well as those people what would be considered underneath you in a hierarchy, unless you're doing one of those circular or banded sorts of organizations. But the people who work for you on your team, the people that you lead, so that what you are hearing from people continually is the kind of things that are going to let you know that what you did was good, what you did was valuable, and they want you to do more of it for them, with them, about them. Those are probably the keys, as well as being a powerful negotiator. And that is actually a simple process, but it can be complex if you don't do it properly. And the other thing that you asked, Tony, was how do you identify those people that are working against you? If people are not encouraging you, if people are taking credit for work that you have done or taking credit for ideas that you brought to the table, or taking, for instance, if you are introducing people, I think a key to networking is to make other people comfortable because everybody's uncomfortable when you're networking. No, people don't really love to go out there and shake hands and meet and greet and that sort of thing. So if you will go out there and make people feel comfortable around you, they are going to remember you. And I think that is a key to doing that. But if there are people that are, for instance, if you introduce somebody to someone in your network that is supposed to perhaps provide a resource for this person that you introduced, and that person misuses that contact, then that's a person who's working against you. And it's hard to just sit and think up all of the things, but when you are looking at a person's individual career circumstances, you can slowly but surely identify the people who are anti-you. And it's important to know who they are, and it's important to build your arsenal that is for you in a stronger way. I don't think I said that very well, but build up your network that supports you and encourages you in order to counteract those people, because not everybody's going to like it. It's just the fact.
Very good. Very good. Thank you very much. I see Lazaro, your hand's up.
All right. Hi, Sharee. Thanks for stopping by. So my question is, as a coach, what would you say one of your biggest success stories is, if not like the biggest, when it comes to, the people that you brought under your wing, and how did you achieve that level of success with that person?
Oh my gosh, I've been doing this for over 30 years, Lazaro. And so my mind just explodes with people. One really big success was a woman who came to me in the throes of a divorce, and she was going to have to go back to work. She had been in the workforce for a while. And so we were going over what her strengths were. And it turns out that she said, well, I've never done anything. I've just been a volunteer, Said, well, what did you do as a volunteer? Oh, nothing much, just some fundraising stuff. After a little bit of prodding, in the past couple of years, she had raised over $3 million for the two charities that she worked with in her town. And all she could say to me was, I haven't done anything. I've just been a housewife. I've just been a volunteer. When she had a plan, when she knew how to speak about what she had done in a way that did not feel to her like bragging, she had the confidence that she needed. She became one of the best negotiators I have ever seen. She got a $40,000 increase in salary on her very first attempt at negotiating, because she had in her mind what her value was, and she knew what the marks were, and she knew how to ask for more and to justify it. So she went back out. She found her position. She got a huge increase. And in 2 years' time, she was the CEO of that organization. So I'm super proud of her, because she's somebody that just didn't think that she had anything to offer. She was measuring herself by the measures that people measure people by when they devalue them. They use the word just or only.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you, what advice would you give to a mid-career woman who is undervalued, who has been overlooked for a promotion or a position that fits her to the T, but been given to someone who is underqualified and is a man? What advice would you give that woman to go to? Who would you tell her to go to? And how would she not be ousted by going to this person, the higher up, saying, listen, how would she do that? How would that look? You overlooked me. And he overlooked you on purpose. What advice would you give to that woman?
There is no legal leg to stand on there. So there is nothing that she can go to HR and say, they overlooked me. What you have to do is you have to work with, the people that hired the guy over her, they didn't do anything illegal. They maybe did something that was morally wrong, but it was not illegal what they did. So she can ruin her career if she wants to go and cause a stink about that with HR. She can take a variety of approaches, and I'd have to know way more about the situation, but just in general, one of the things to do is you can go to HR and you can say, I think I was qualified for that position and I did not get the opportunity. I would like to know, what can I do in the next 6 months to position myself for that opportunity the next time it comes up? What do I need to know? What skills do I need to polish? What people do I need to meet in order to do this? And then, of course, create a plan and put that plan into action. Another thing that I like to have people do is do some networking to research the factors that come into play for the position. What are people being paid there? What do other companies think that the skills are for that position, that the knowledge base that she should have? What kind of background or experience or projects should she have been doing in order to be as qualified for that position? And I would also work with her on making some noise about herself, learning how to speak up in meetings and say your idea in a meeting in front of everybody so that nobody can come around behind you and say, this idea. No, because we all heard you say it in the meeting. Just ways to put yourself in front of the people who have the influence to hire you. Maybe you don't get hired in that company, but maybe you get hired in another company, and whoops, too bad for them, because they could have had you, and probably for less money.
I see your hand, Karen. I'm coming. I got you. Your work is so important. I mean, I never looked at it, but your work is so important because what you're telling me and what I'm getting is that what's going on is not illegal, so there's not much you can do about it. However, your coaching and expertise is necessary, because otherwise I would be in my feelings and I probably would ruin my career. As what you're telling me is correct. I mean, I would ruin my career because I was like, wait a minute, hold up, I go to the big boss man, this ain't right, and that wouldn't fly, because I'll go to HR and say, hey, this somebody, why'd they do that? And I'd end up probably without a job. So what you're saying, you coach these women on how and what to do in these instances, correct?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. How to do it differently.
That's
how
really
to
good.
do it in the way that maybe is not your first reaction, but
That's
how to do
really
it
important.
as an action. This is why I believe it is so critically important. And as a matter of fact, the Women of Influence work that is out there says that one of the main things that companies need to do to have women ready to move into the C-suite is to teach them self-advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
Like the boys get.
Wow.
The boys get mentoring. The boys get taught how to self-advocate, but the women don't. So.
Right. That's really good. It's really important. I never looked at it, but it is super important. Karen, come on.
Okay, at the this is one thing that I encourage people to do, especially if you want to move up in your career. And like you was just mentioning about being overlooked. One thing at the end of the year, you have your annual review. You keep a log of all. I'm a numbers person.
Oh, yeah.
So I negotiate for a living. So when you keep a log of all of the things that you have done, the money that you have saved or whatever, you keep a log of that. You also have a goal on every annual review. They ask, what are your goals for the next year? And at the end of that year, did you meet the expectation or not? So if I was looking for a higher position, I would have that conversation with my boss and say, this is my goal for the next year. And like you said, looking at the compensation in those particular roles. So I would say, this is where I want to be. Can you help me get to this particular position? This is what I'm bringing to the table. So I encourage women or men, but we're talking about women, to keep a log and the things that were implemented by you for that year and what your accomplishments were. And like you said, Sharee, bring it up in the meeting so everyone knows what you did. One year, this was years ago, I had, because I do procurement, that a big thermometer in the department for every time the department had saved money from a contract. And the goal, I think, was like $500,000. So as the team got to that $500,000, when I was negotiating the raises for my team, I was also negotiating, this is what I bring to the table. This is what I want next year. How am I going to get there? And so it was so in their face, they had to recognize what the team and myself, what we were bringing to the table. So I encourage everyone to keep a journal or a log of everything they have accomplished for that year and set goals for the next year. And that's it. That's pen to paper. So they can't ignore it. They have to see it because it's part of the annual review.
That, Karen, that right there is gold. When you keep a log, when you keep a record, I think in sales they call it their brag book. But so many people don't like to be seen as bragging. So the thing is to just have your documented proof of what you have accomplished. And not only you don't have to wait all the way until your annual evaluation either. You can make it a habit to stop in to your boss's office every now and then, say, have you got 2 seconds? Yes, no, okay, don't worry, I'll make an appointment and come back. I just want to let you know what we've done on this project. And come by and update them, because the more they know from you, about you, the more they're going to look to you for that kind of result. So absolutely have the log, the journal, whatever you want to call it. Some people keep spreadsheets. I had a client once that made an actual spreadsheet that he brought to me with all of his information on it. I said, can I use that with my clients? Is it sure? So yeah.
We are just scratching the surface of what you do, Sharee. Sharee will be with us every Friday in the month of May with her awesome story, and I'm encouraging you to continue in what you're doing. Let me ask you, You're writing a book.
I know you keep asking me if I'm writing a book.
Yeah, because it should be a book
I
about
know
this
I
stuff,
have to
man.
write a book, Cloyd,
Yes.
but I have not yet.
I'm gonna ask you the same question next week. Sharee, you writing that book yet?
All right.
And then I'm gonna keep asking, are you writing that book yet? Because we want to see it. We want to read it.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
I promise I will have started the book when you ask me next week.
Okay, good. That's good. Listen, let me ask you this question before we go. I want to know, how do you recruit your clients? Is it word of mouth? How do you get clients?
Oh, yeah. I can do it word of mouth. I haven't done any advertising per se, but it's been word of mouth. I have my LinkedIn page and my Facebook page, and I just talk to people. I network and I tell people what I do, and basically that is how I do it. Or if I do a presentation somewhere, and talk about these things, I expose myself to more people.
Well, we're gonna put it out there, and we're gonna put it out there because this needs to be heard. I am sure. I'm positive that there are millions of women all over never mind the United States, all over the world that would agree with you. And
Karen, I'm going to need some help.
Yeah, you definitely need some help because I mean, you have there's a large amount of clientele just waiting for you. So
yeah, I didn't realize. Like I said, I've been doing this for 30 years, but I haven't just worked with women for 30 years. I've worked with young people, old people, men, women. I've had some trans clients. I've had a lot of different people who are trying to get ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have, tons of stories from back there. But it was since my husband died that it occurred to me that I was still reading the research that was still saying that there was this age and gender bias holding women back in the workforce. And I thought, this just cannot go on any longer. So.
And I thank God for people like you that care, because there's people, there's women all over the place that are looking right at this stuff and like, oh well, it ain't me, I don't care. So you have been apparently you've been through something to the degree of this type of what I'm going to call it discrimination, to set your mind and your heart on this path to help someone. And I thank you for your transparency of what you've been through, and to tell your life story, that it may help someone else or encourage some women to join your crusade, so to speak. Before we go, I'm going to ask: is there anybody, any women, any men, anybody here that has a comment or last question for Sharee before we go? And if not, we will see her next Friday for the next segment of Sharee's story on Let Your Voice Be Heard Talk Radio. I want to thank my panel. I want to thank you guys, Danielle and Kanande. Thank you so much for being here. Karen, I thank you so much. You always here, Princess, Tony Curtis, all you guys, the whole panel. Sharee, listen, we love you. You when you're here twice, you're family. You're not family. You're not part of the family. So just get used to us. Get used to us, because we'll have you on here for you could ask a few of our guests. We'll have you on here 6, 7, 8 times. But, as long as it takes to get this point across, we're going to have you to come back. I thank everyone for being here. I thank you for staying all night. We had a bunch of awesome guests on Let Your Voice Be Heard Talk Radio. You guys, we'll see you next time. This your boy now.
Step in, lean in, mic on, and begin. Hey! Been quiet too long, chewed up tongue, turned down songs, clock keeps ticking on the wall, but your name's still missing from the roll call. Let your voice be heard, say every single word, from the low notes to the sky. Throw your hands up high. Let your voice be heard, loud, clear, undeterred. If it shakes the room, that's how you know it's you. Yeah. Oh yeah. You got a truth tucked deep in your chest, heartbeat tapping out, say it, confess. Crowd might stare, let them do what they do. They never held a fire living in you. Let your voice be heard, say every single word, from the low notes to the sky. Throw your hands up high. Let your voice be heard, loud, clear, undeterred. If it shakes the room, that's how you know it's you. Yeah. Speak up, name your dream out loud. Stand up, you're the leader of this crowd. One spark, one shout, watch the silence melt. Power in your mouth is the truest thing you felt. Let your voice be heard, say every single word, from the low notes to the sky. Throw your hands up high. Let your voice be heard, loud, clear, undeterred. If it shakes the room, that's how you know it's you. Yeah, that's you. That's you. Step in, lean in, mic off, never again.
Here's your boy now.